to keep it fact straight, going 30 for 30. Let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, you see me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the chop shop, cause they cutting up. It's retro, coming to you live to the chop shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the chop shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the chop shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the chop shop. We live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. We live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the chop shop. In the chop shop, we talking sports talk. We live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. We live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the chop shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas, but we're broadcasting all over the world. And Jimmy, we've got a great, let me show you something, Jimmy. The NFL has finally taken shape. I got a chance to go and watch a little high school basketball this weekend. You got a chance to go watch some high school football and basketball. And there's some great things going on in football and basketball. But Jimmy, let me tell you, I just want to start this. A friend of mine sent me a text in June. You know, I'm glad they date the text back on June 10th. And she said, as I mentioned you before, because she watched the show, but we don't talk about young ladies as much, you know, as the young men. She said, as mentioned, before you got to check this young girl out. Her name is Imani Ivory. And she is just a sophomore at Foster High School. Her goal is to get 1,000 points this season. Watch the come up. That was she sent me a text. And she sent me a text, a little girl. You know, so guess what, Jimmy? On the Houston Chronicle, she sent me a Houston Chronicle article. Foster girls win the Lamar Consolidated tournament this weekend. And the young lady, Imani Ivory, got 2 years left. She was on the cover. So shout out to Carla and shout out to Imani. So guess, Jimmy, let me tell you something. People, what you said some long time ago, you said input equals output. So when she supplied me with that information, look, she get Imani Ivory get talked about on the Chop Shop. But Jimmy, I was out at these high school games. Jimmy, something has got to be done about these PGWs. Jimmy, it's a PGW epidemic going on out there, but I'm just telling you, we'll talk about it later. Parents are gone absolutely wild in the stands in high school basketball. But what you got going on, man?
Man, first we're gonna get right into this and recap a lot of the stuff that happened in the amateur sector, including high school basketball and high school football. I got a chance to go check out some playoffs this past weekend as well. And want to remind you guys, as an added bonus,
Okay.
we're going to shop where we're going to release the schedules for the Christmas crossover live on the show in about a few minutes before the hour. In the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to release and show you and pop them up, give you guys the schedules for the Christmas crossover basketball showcase, which is basically it's a new premier holiday event that was started last year when we bought Anthony Edwards in town.
That's right.
Bought Anthony Edwards in town. Bought another team from out of Maryland in town. Bought a couple of teams from Louisiana, Oklahoma, Dallas. I mean, and so this is the second year, and we've moved locations from HISD's Delmar Fieldhouse, which we made history there, becoming the first non-HISD event to be held in that brand new stadium. You know, I love making history. So this year, we moved it to the University of St. Thomas. It will be December the 20th and 21st. And this Christmas crossover is indeed, it's interesting. Not as many out of state teams as it was last year, but the atmosphere should be intimate and it should be very enjoyable for a lot of the families out there. December the 20th and the 21st, the Christmas crossover. Stay tuned. We're going to bring that schedule out. Now, also, I went around, I want to give a shout out and tip my lid to, Summer Creek High School. You know, they took 3 lumps upside the head this year. You know, they lost to North Shore. They lost to Beaumont United. And then also, trying to think the other game. They lost another game in one of my events. Can't think who else they lost to. But they won this weekend at the Carlisle Kruger Classic out in Clear Creek ISD. Beat Beaumont United in the semifinals. And, you know, this Summer Creek team, you know, Coach Kenneth Coleman, they got it done. Also, you know, and I was very impressed. I went on social media yesterday. Reese Allen, he's the gritty guy. He's the Draymond Green of this team. You know, I'm not comparing them to the Golden State Warriors of any one of the years, but they are fun to watch and they play with a high tempo. And I'm gonna tell you, guess who won MVP? Of course, they also have the young man Dylan Miles, who's going to Dallas Baptist. He's the leading scorer. But the MVP of this tournament was Dylan Scales. And I've spoken with about 4 opponents of Summer Creek this year. About 4 opponents before the games. And every one of the coaches said the same exact thing in different variations. They said, man, the biggest problem for Summer Creek is that point guard. Because he don't care about scoring at all, and you can't rally him. And you know what happens? When that type of thing, then you win. A kid like Dylan Scales, there are several of you guys out there in whatever city you're in, but a kid like that, the good things going to come to those who wait. He's going to play college basketball for free. Maybe at the Division I level. That's not what it's all about at this juncture, especially December of your senior year, and you don't have nothing. You're not worried about Division I. You're worried about D3. This kid, Dylan Scales.
D3, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to play basketball for free. He gets it. Think about it. This kid just is 1 year. He's 14 months removed from being at home. And your father is right upstairs on his treadmill and has a cardiac attack and dies. Think about that. You're preparing to go into basketball season as an 11th grader. And now So last year, and I told you I give him a mulligan last year because you don't know. That means everything is a first. First Thanksgiving without him. First Christmas without him. First New Year without him. First time going and playing summer basketball without him. First time traveling without him. Everything was a first. So now I watch him from afar and I say, I'm going to watch and see how he can respond in the senior season to see if he can ride the bike without the training wheels on it. As going, because we all, come on, it happens. Tragedies. This young man is pulling it together. Not one time has he ever come up to me and said, hey, you got to rank me higher. Not one time did he come up to me, you're sleeping on me. He's winning. And that's point guard. I promise you, nobody can ignore you. They could do this. They could do this. They can't ignore you if you're winning. That's what he's doing over at Summer Creek High School. Give a shout out to him, man. I'm loving the adversity. You don't wish adversity on no young man, but when they're able to overcome and still perform and peak at a high level, and those are the type of stories. And here's what happens. If you don't remind people, then people will tend to forget what some of the young people are overcoming. I hear the story. Well, man, he don't have a dad in the house. Or man, he don't have different stories, different people out there. Man, it's tough out there living, they almost homeless. So there's different stories, different people. But then you're not the first, not the last. Dylan Scales not the first young man that's going to lose his father before he finishes high school.
Shoot.
Yeah, you can look right down the highway at Bryce Griggs. Tragedy. Lost his dad 15, 16 months ago. And so you go and people, if you allow people to forget, that just goes to show you how people say, man, it's all about these kids. If they gave a damn about these kids like that, the first question would be, it wouldn't even be a question of how you're doing. It wouldn't even be basketball. It would be collective hands on deck. You see the difference? So that means a lot of us guilty to some aspect for the ones who claim, oh, it's all about the kids. Hell, some of you guys probably forgot that a Dylan Scales or Bryce Griggs lost Bubba Griggs and Jared Scales in 2018. You forgot.
And Jimmy, not to belittle other dads, but these two dads were very, very prevalent in the youth basketball community. Some dads are not as big a part of it, but Bubba Griggs' tentacles reach out across the country. Mr. Scales, Jared Scales, his tentacles. It's people out of town be talking about these guys when I travel out of town. So it's a youth. So now, and Jimmy, I'm glad you said that because that's one of, not one of the reasons, but that's why I had such a hard time, why people gave Bryce such a hard time about his success. You got to realize him and his daddy did everything together. When I say everything together. So, and it's a unique thing that as a community, and we just got to get better at it. They talented at basketball. They good at this. They good at this. But boy, them dudes missed their dad. Even Jimmy, if you remember, after Bryce hit the shot in Dallas last week, you were right there. The last thing he said was, rest in peace to my dad. See, a lot of people was talking about the other stuff he did. He said, rest in peace, dad. Those kids still think about their dads to this day, right now. And hey, great. I didn't think about that part of the equation, but it's a great thing to bring up, man. Great topic.
Well, absolutely, and that's one one of the things that if we don't remind each other of such things, then people will tend to forget. And so I want to give a shout out. I'm looking at some of the comments right now in the Boom Boom Room. Shout out to a lot of you guys out there, man, what's happening. Make sure you can get out there and go and get ahead of the curve. Let's share the show right now.
Okay,
Get
watch
out the way.
this.
Let's share the show if you hadn't done so. Let's get everybody into this conversation today. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk NFL. We're going to talk college basketball. Of course, we're going to talk NCAA football with the college football playoff. The brackets are set. We're going to talk a lot more about high school basketball. And of course, in about 5 minutes, we're going to release the schedule for the Christmas crossover. The Christmas crossover taking place December the 20th and 21st at the University of St. Thomas. And now, shout out to Stephon Leary out there.
What's up, Leary?
Tony Kelly, I didn't in Austin, Texas, well, Round Rock, Texas, that is. Shout out to him. Herb Baker's over in Miami.
Yeah.
Lawson in Port Arthur. Shout out to you guys out there. And don't forget, guys, take out the time. If you are a small business manager or owner, post the name of your business on the Boom Boom Room.
Yes.
I mean, think about it. It's the holiday season, and this is one of the take advantage of this opportunity to network on the Chop Shop. Want to get it out the way. And of course, Herb Baker says, I lost my dad a year ago yesterday.
That's right.
I'm 47 years old, and I have yet to recover from the loss of my old man. Absolutely. And we think about it. So many of these young guys, these young student athletes are so protected. Right. They learn to where are their experiences with adversity under your watch? Where? Everything is controlled. The adversity they face, you control it. You know? And so you didn't fix your bed, okay, you're not gonna go here. Okay, you gotta stay here. So that means it's controlled adversity. Something like that, that's uncontrollable. So where do they get the experience from? And with a lot of the things that come up in our culture, in African American culture, and this is really, I used to have a stern stance on this because this is the way we was raised. But I understand. There are times, man, when kids really do need somebody to talk to.
Of course they do.
They really do need somebody to talk to. But the thing is, the kids you look at some of these kids, they go through the motions so much in dealing in relations with and communications with grown folk that if you look back at it, a lot of these kids, you think these kids trust you. I'm talking about when they get 16, 17, 18 years. You think they trust you? If they do, why is it so hard to get them to communicate with you? When you was little, didn't you have an uncle? Didn't you have that one uncle or that one cousin that can come and sit down with you? And they might have $1 or a pack of Now-Laters, but you can sit there and talk to them about anything because you were assured and you believed that they wasn't going to tell your mama. They wasn't going to tell your daddy. They'd even let you drive. They'd even let you sip out their bill. You had that cousin. You had that uncle. Had her. Going on. The bill be wrapped in the old brown can. You look at that bill, look out the window, and you go and take a swig. Well, I ain't going to tell you, mama. You're a man, ain't you?
Yeah. Jimmy, I had 5 brothers and sisters, so I didn't need no uncle. I had all older brothers. So, I mean, but it's so unique you said that. Cause and I'm not gonna cause they were, I can say I was in an impromptu, it wasn't a meeting. We were just sitting around the table this weekend and talking to a young man, me and another parent, and it wasn't his son, it wasn't my son. But you know what? Later on, the kid's mom came back and told the dad that, man, thank y'all for talking to my son. I mean, Jimmy, let me tell y'all something, man. These young student athletes, the professional athletes, let me tell you something, man. I would say this today. Be kind to everybody, Jimmy, because everybody's fighting some type of battle. You don't know. You really don't know. It's some young kids out here talking about anxiety at 18 years old. Having lived at 18 years old and talking about they got anxiety issues. And Jimmy, I don't know how I got in this conversation. I was just over the house at the right time. I mean, I know it wasn't a coincidence because several things that I shared with the young man just say it's never been put to me that way, with so much compassion. And I mean, I was just speaking from my heart. You got to understand, what if something had happened to me and I wasn't around? I would love for somebody to talk to my son the same way. So it's let me tell y'all something. Y'all talk to these young guys. Jimmy, you and I, when you played baseball, back when I played basketball, we didn't have social media. All our successes and all our failures played out on a screen before a whole lot of people. We didn't have that. We didn't have cyberbullying. We had physical bullying, but we didn't have cyberbullying. That's embarrassing you because everybody getting this news immediately. And these kids, let me tell y'all, man, I can't tell y'all the conversations I had yesterday with this kid, but these kids are having problems, parents and grown folks. So sometimes they don't want to be coached. Sometimes, Jimmy, they don't want to be coached. They just want somebody to listen to and people. If you don't have nothing to say, then okay. Don't you say nothing. Because we don't want to make the situation better or worse. So Jimmy, I mean, it's funny you said this. I just had an intervention this weekend, and thank God, listen to me, y'all, thank God we were there.
And of course, Brishon Vasher says we need to not be afraid to introduce our kids to therapy and counseling at early ages, in addition to community mentors, which is even greater, because that's basically connecting them with yesteryear. But how? What are some good ways to get it? Because that's a taboo subject with a lot of. Because the first thing that people say, ain't nothing wrong with my baby. Mm-hmm. You the one crazy for even saying that. And you get immediately, you can get up to a life sentence from a family member or from a loved one from even suggesting that they consider it. And that's the thing. So how do you get into that? How do you introduce that? Or do you just sneak it up on them? And that's the thing. And how?
Jim, in our case, and I think why our situation was so effective, it might have been set up because I didn't know I was coming to talk to a kid. And the more I think about it, I think the people wanted me to talk to this kid, right? And because it just so happened I'm over there and the kid comes over there. So it might have been a setup. And but first of all, they got you got to, my thing is, I just talked to him about his life. I just wanted, because I didn't know much about his kid, about him but playing basketball. And I saw that he had up and down moments like fogs in the game. So I just asked him, explain some of your fault. I said, some minutes, man, you like a world beater. And some minutes you like, I said, you seem checked out. And then he opened up, Jimmy. I didn't know what, Jimmy, you got to realize I was set up. I didn't know why I was over here. And I didn't know why I was over. I just asked the kid about his up and down moments in the game. And he opened up to me, and I talked to him. And from there, Jimmy, I listened to him, and then I kind of figured it out. You just can't go, wow, bam, 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 bam at him. You got to figure out what's wrong with him first. And he got to trust you. And evidently the kid trusts me a little bit. So
and I mean, and that's one way in. That was almost like an intervention.
Yes, it was.
You see? So that means an intervention is almost snuck up on people. That's not nothing in their schedule. So is that how black folk got to do it? I'm just asking. I don't know. I really don't. All I can do is every now and then I might offer suggestions, but you guys can understand this. This is really serious because I always, not always, but since getting into the high school basketball sector with RCS Sports, I've always been called, and there'll be a family, a mom, dad, and the kid at the table, and or they want us to meet, want me to sit down and talk and give an assessment of a situation and basically serve as a consultant.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it. This is not no scheduled. I don't offer a service for family. I don't get a fee for doing that from families. So understand that. So this is out of the love of the heart. Just this past weekend, I had another one. And this, once again, we're on the Chop Shop, guys. I promise you, this topic was not on the docket.
It was not.
As we go, we got so much to talk to, and we're about 2 minutes away from releasing the schedule for the Christmas crossover. But this weekend, after the North Shore and Atascocita football game, I had to go and make and change and alter some plans. I was going to the gym to watch another high school basketball game, but then this family that I know, they wanted me to speak with their kid about some realities about options. And those realities and options, I'm not going to share. Of course, I wouldn't dare share with you the kid's name or the family's name, but I will share you guys the situation, because this was a hell of a learning experience. As I'm teaching, I'm learning. I'm learning just how some of these kids who are ranked, who play on sneaker teams, just how foggy and how confused they are when it comes to the recruiting process, when it comes to this stuff. And man, it's serious out there. This ain't the time to be playing around with these scholarship offers. I'm going to share that story with you guys shortly. But first and foremost, let's get to some business and get this out the way. We have, and Steph Leary, he says, in my program with the Shooting Stars, we make it known to our parents. Anytime you need counseling or help with your kids, please let me know. I spend my Wednesdays and Sundays counseling families. A lot of time you can tell based on their performance in sports and classroom and the decisions off the court. That is very serious. And once again, I think we may return back to this conversation shortly as we take a deep breath, because I want to know, because a lot of the kids that play in the programs that Steph Leary has, which is the Shooting Stars, based out of Katy, in the Katy ISD area. That's where they're based. A lot of those kids are middle combined income families. And I want to know, we want to just see what's the differences when approaching and dealing with those very urban kids versus the suburban kids in the manner of counseling. And see, well, I can't, Cal, I'm making a footnote right here.
Make a footnote, cause Trina Mouton, we got to remember, she said lots of pressures on kids today through social media, and we as adults need to be mindful of our rhetoric around discussions about them.
Bingo.
Great job, Trina.
Let's bookmark that.
I got it.
Let's go right now. Without further ado, of course, we're going to go with day one, December the 20th, and we're going to release to you guys the schedule for the Christmas crossover basketball showcase. Now, understand, this event is a collaboration between, of course, RCS Sports, myself. I came up with this concept, and I decided to bring along two young, hungry nephews. And that would be Glenn Smith, who just did a phenomenal job with the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest up in Dallas. Yeah, that Glenn Smith. And Marcus Sloan. These guys are hungry and they're tomorrow. And as you know, and as you continue to innovate, and I don't know what I'll be doing in the next few years, but I'm definitely going to be doing something. And one of the things is I want to build something, enable other people to collaborate. It's kind of like you have certain artists and they go on songs together. And you like, I never thought I'd hear them on the record together. And you do. Well, this is the first day. Friday's schedule at 12 o'clock. Clear Falls at versus Cinco Ranch, followed by Houston Christian versus Dallas Universal Academy. Westbury Christian versus Aldine Nimitz. That'll give you guys Javier Francis, right? What'd you say, Adam?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, then you start smiling already.
No.
Javier Francis versus Ashton Smith from Nimitz High School. Ashton Smith he holds an offer, a recruitable offer. A committable offer from University of Houston right now. He's about 6'9". The team ain't doing that hot, but all eyes are on him because if U of H offered this dude, then guess what? Then they are projecting that he has the capacity to make a difference in the AAC, right? So now, next up, Aldine Davis versus Lawton Christian out of Oklahoma. That team came last year. That team is getting it in. They ain't lost but like 1 or 2 games all year. This Aldine Davis team, they made it and won 3rd place this past weekend in the Pearland tournament. Only lost by 2 in the semis to Pearland. Aldine Davis is pretty doggone good, one of the tallest teams in the area. North Shore versus Martin Ranch. Let me tell you something. North Shore only lost 1 game all season. He just lost this past weekend in the championship to Travis High School out in the Lamar Consolidated ISD tournament. This North Shore team beat Summer Creek, who we talked about earlier. This North Shore team has been rolling. They're gonna get their chance to dance. This to be their midterm exam, playing against Martin Ranch. North Shore, you say they've been sleeping on you, and as it stands right now, they're number 8 in the state, according to the newly released TABC rankings. North Shore number 8 in the state. They'll play against that top 10 in the state. North Shore. They're playing against Martin Ranch. Guess what? Eddie Lampkin, he's back. Didn't even stay out a whole week from that knee injury. Says his knee was swollen last week. Guess what? Big Eddie didn't care. Went out there and played. Balled out. That's going to be a good game at 6:20 on Friday, December the 20th. And the finale on that evening will be Dickinson versus the Woodlands Christian. The Woodlands Christian, guys, yeah. They was rocking. And one of the top teams, the number 1 ranked team in the state, according to TABC, to the TABC poll, who was just released earlier this morning. They're number 1 in the state in their respective TAPS division. This Woodlands Christian team, I think they've only lost like 2 games all year. And this will be one heck of a matchup. Once again, all games we played on the campus of the University of St. Thomas. This is the only event in the state of Texas that will be held on the college campus this year. Now, that's the first day. 6 games on the first day. On the second day, there will only be 5 games. And the first game will start at 12 noon again. So that means you sleep late, come party with us. You know them youngsters know how to party. We get Marcus Sloan and Glenn Smith. They'll be out there doing the jitterbug and whatever them young folk do nowadays. And we'll get out there at night on Friday night after the games and engage in some social consumption. Even Howder might put some of that burgundy stuff in his glass.
Burgundy?
Yeah, after you mix it up, it's burgundy. You know that.
So that's the first night. When are you ready to talk about the second night?
Now the second night, December the 21st.
Okay.
Here's the schedule for December the 21st. And of course, you guys see it on your screen right now. And that schedule right there is going to be rocking as well. Only 5 games. Started off with the Legacy, the School of Sports Science versus the Lawton Christian team from Oklahoma. That game will be followed by St. Pius, Walt Yates Jr. You guys, you see him on the Chop Shop feed in the Boom Boom Room. Never got to meet him. I'm going to tell you guys something. These 2 teams will be playing each other again in January. But this will be their first of 2 meetings this season. Houston Christian is pretty doggone decent, pretty good. Now, Walt is feeling pretty good about himself because guess what they did this past weekend, Adam?
What did they do?
They went down to Beaumont and beat Dallas Kimball in the semifinals of the tournament down in Beaumont. Walt Yates feel like his team like they feel like they're invincible right now. I'm giving you just what you want, bro. You're going to have a stage for your kids to play on a college campus, a D3 campus, which every team that's playing in there has at least one prospect that think they can play higher than D3, but you really probably ain't even good enough to play for University of St. Thomas. This will be a very good recruiting opportunity because two of the coaches from the University of St. Thomas are remaining in town for this event to help facilitate it. Next up on this schedule, the third game at 3:10 on Saturday, December 21st, the Willis Christian versus Dallas Universal Academy. Followed at 4:45, Katy Tompkins versus Nederland. Nederland, don't look at their record. They have played this entire season without Hayden Hefner, right? Hayden Hefner is set to make his season debut this week. So he'll get the rust up off of him, and should be back in fourth gear at least by the 21st when they take on Katy Tompkins with BB Knight and the rest of the crew. The last game of that day is a highly anticipated showdown: Concordia Lutheran versus Episcopal. Concordia Lutheran, once again, they're number 4 in the state according to TABC right now. Episcopal is number 8.
Jimmy, could you hold on 1 second?
Yeah.
They said, Jacques Armand said, wait, Marshall won that tournament and beat St. Pius.
I say the third place game.
Oh, the third place game. Okay, good. He just missed your name. Okay, keep going. My bad.
Won to beat Dallas Kimball in the third place. I mean, I'm sorry. I said semifinals.
Okay.
Semifinals. That's what I said.
Okay.
I said semifinals.
Come on, Jock.
Yeah. So, get back with Jock in a minute because Jock, we got to talk high school football in a minute. He's one of the assistant coaches with the Thurgood Marshall football team who advanced to the state semis as well. But once again, guys, that is the schedule for the Christmas crossover. Day 1, if you just missed it, and day 2. And of course, on social media, Marcus Sloan and Glenn Smith, they'll be rocking and boosting that thing out on social media in the upcoming minutes while we're still on the air on the Chop Shop and giving you guys a blast on that. This is going to be a great 2 days of high school basketball. You're not stuck in the gym all day. You don't start early in the morning. You see? And once again, providing platforms. This is a platform to enable a lot of our student athletes to play on a college campus in an actual game. If you think it's a common practice, how many games, when your son played at Westside, how many games did he play on a college campus when he was in high school for his high school team?
0.
I'm just saying, a lot of people take things for granted and don't even think about it. This is an opportunity. Understand something. I could have easily went and got one of the high schools and just put the event there at one of the high schools and had the event there for a fraction of the cost. For a fraction of the cost. Trust me. In some of those high schools that are playing.
Jimmy, speaking of St. Thomas University, let me tell you something. A shout out to Anthony Medina and that staff. Jimmy, that has got to be the hardest working coaching staff that I've ever seen in my entire life. Jimmy, every event I walk into, these guys are in the building. I walk in a practice. I walk into what's that at the beginning of the season, the preseason, the fall ball. Those guys were in the fall ball looking at players. And a shout out to their people. And these guys, these the same guys that helped when you did the season opener. So it's just a unique thing. I mean, I get to know these guys. These are college coaches, y'all, that are watching our kids and watching your kids all the time. I didn't see that when my son was coming up. I didn't see St. Thomas in the gym every day when my son was coming. I just didn't see it. Maybe it was there, but I didn't see it. This is a unique staff over there, and I take my hat off to them.
And Jeff, once again, guys, so thanks so much for your patience. We got that schedule out Now let's get right back into the conversation, and but first we'll go around the horn, and how do you want to get? Do you want to get back in that conversation now, or you want to take a deep breath and?
No, I'm good. Take a deep breath. We'll go to something else, and then we'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it. Well, of course, hey, the NFL yesterday.
Oh my goodness!
Just when the Houston Texans get see now, you guys see how I stand like I stand, because otherwise, Texans fans, you ain't much different than the Dallas Cowboy fans. You ain't much different. You win 1 week, 2 weeks, 2 in a row, and now you want everybody to stop what they doing and pay attention to you. Now, the minute they start, you make people, Dallas Cowboy fans, you guys are great at it. I can be minding my business. Dallas Cowboy win, I don't even have to watch the game. If they're winning, Chris Walker sent a text message. This one here, Walter Yates sent a text message. Everybody text. How about them Cowboys? Then the minute they start getting their asses kicked in, then guess what? Now you don't want me to pay attention to them. Same thing for these Texans. I'm saying it, man. You go and you beat New England like you did to come back, and it ain't losing. It's the way that you lose. It's just something about playing at home that they just don't have the dominating capacity. Home court advantage, field advantage ain't really home field advantage to them against subpar teams. Man, they would do. And then know what made it worse? I think it would have been better if the Texans would have just got beat 38-3. It would have been better. Fourth quarter, you want to start playing and you're playing with no sense of urgency in the third and fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter. Then finally you score. Then you score again. Oh, now let's play with some urgency. We can do this. You ran out of the clock.
Jimmy, they just make dumb mistakes. I sit there and watch the play that turned the whole game around. I sit there and watch. Okay, if the ball, if you're unsure about the fumble, you got to keep playing, man. When the ball hit and Kareem Jackson, the guy who they sent away, the linebacker had the presence of mind to pick it up and then gave it to Kareem and said, man, go run this thing. Why was our people on our 11 players on our team that thought, hey, hold on, man, this play might not be dead? The Texans just quit. What is the guy? See, they showing up with game uniforms and SWAT uniforms and basketball uniforms and all that crap. Jimmy, we've been told to play through the whistle. We've been told to play through the whistle, everybody. But for some reason, y'all say because I live here, the Texans just quit. Change the whole game around, man. Change the whole game around.
And you know what happens now? Now, the Texans find themselves in a similar situation as the Dallas Cowboys. Similar. And I'm not going to lie. It seems like, one, the misery loves company. Cliche applies. Whenever one of those teams lose, those fans are hoping like hell that the other one lose. Whenever
are you talking about the fans? You talking about the fans?
Okay, as long as the Texans lose. You follow me? Texans lose, they okay as long as the Cowboys lose. Because you know what happens next week? The Houston Texans has to get on the road and play against Tennessee. Why is this game significant? Because the Tennessee Titans is only one game behind the Texans. They're one game behind. Texans are 8-5. Right? Tennessee, 7-6. So Tennessee wins that game. Then guess what? The Texans find themselves in a wild card, could find themselves in a wild card battle in the AFC. This is why. And the Cowboys, similar situation. They're one game ahead of Philly. Right? Mm-hmm. And guess what? If the Cowboys lose, they could find themselves in a wild card situation. That's why I say both were in similar territory. And speaking of which, I'm looking at on yesterday. Yesterday, I watched more NFL football yesterday than I have since probably week 1. You know, I normally watch a piece of one game, a quarter, and I'm good. You know, turn on another one. I watched the scheduling fell right into the favor of the NFL on Sunday. Think about it. We got the Chiefs and New England. We got the Rams and Seattle yesterday.
Oh, that's good games.
You know, I was good with that.
It's a good game yesterday.
Then you had the Ravens and the Bills yesterday. That was it. That's all you needed. Because those 3 games defined and told a lot of people everything that you want to know. You want to know if the Chiefs, remember now, had the Chiefs lost that game, they could have been in
a heap of trouble.
Yeah.
A heap of trouble.
They've been 1 loss away from being that wild card. They lost that game on the road in New England, right? Mm. And once again, the Chiefs find themselves reminding folk, hey, we ain't going nowhere. I know y'all talk. I know y'all see the little young boy with the plaques. I know he even stole some of my thunder. You know, I know I threw 50 touchdowns last year. I ain't got but 21 touchdowns. I understand that. All right? And that's Mahomes I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But things that he can control. Patrick Mahomes can't control what Lamar Jackson does.
No.
He can control what's in front of him. And I'm going to tell you something. This wild card season for the AFC is going to be really, really, really tough. Hell, for both seasons, both conferences. Because no matter what, in that NFC conference with the Cowboys and the Philadelphia, that's going to be a team with no greater than a 500 record. Probably teetering, if at best, 1 game above 500.
And Jimmy, everybody's saying Dallas ain't no way that Dallas make a wild card. If they lose, they out. So there's no way they can make a wild card. Their record too bad.
They can't make a wild card.
No.
Well, at least the Texans
got a chance. Texans got a chance
because in that wild card you got Buffalo Bills. Right?
Pretty good team, man.
Pittsburgh Steelers then finally came alive. Think about everything that the Pittsburgh Steelers is missing. Well, not missing, but are without from a season ago. Think of all of the players.
Third string or 4th string quarterback.
That's 1. Now, went through 2 quarterbacks. So that means you were
without, third.
Technically, you were without the 2nd string because Roethlisberger didn't really count. You didn't have him but a half second.
Yeah.
So you missed your 2nd string.
Mm-hmm.
Then so that's 1 you without.
You're on the 3rd now.
Roethlisberger first layer. That's different degrees.
Yeah.
First, then you without the 2nd string. All right. Then you without no Juju.
Now they working on the 3rd string, Jimmy.
No AB.
Jimmy, you don't realize Rudolph ain't been playing.
Yeah, that's probably a little helmet.
Yeah. He ain't been playing. They on their 3rd string quarterback. I forgot the kid's name. I know somebody gonna bring it up. I forgot he got a funny last name. And they're gonna bring it up in a minute. But it's let me tell you, the Rockets. I'm sorry. The Texans, man, I just don't know. Jim, they seem like they just wasn't there. That game, that one play, I'm telling you, that one play changed the whole complexity of that game.
Guess who Pittsburgh play on Sunday, Hatter?
Who they play?
Buffalo.
Yes. I think Pittsburgh gonna beat Buffalo.
No. If Pittsburgh beats Buffalo,
mm-hmm.
it gives them the head-to-head over Buffalo. That means Buffalo falls they the first in on the wild card right now. That means they fall all the way on back. they would need, that would be week 14. They would need that. Hell, they would need a serious blessing. Buffalo would need a serious blessing. So Pittsburgh, they're at home Sunday against Buffalo.
Devin Hodges.
They sitting good. They're sitting good. Also, on Sunday, speaking of tough matchups, talking about a trap game now. If this Denver team can be half as good as they was on yesterday, guess what they played? They got to play the Chiefs this weekend. Chiefs take this L. You know,
dude, I'm just sitting up here amazed at this kid is getting a lot better every game.
Ooh.
This Lamar Jackson.
No. I don't want you talking about it,
No.
man.
I wouldn't take him over. See, you know what? You know what your problem is?
No.
No. I never said the kid was bad. Go back and roll the tape.
Plats. I'm gonna get my hair plaited.
All right, now, so you better watch yourself now. So all I tell you is, I say he's a dynamic. So I can always say something. He's still dynamic. But he didn't have a great statistical day yesterday now. Don't get it twisted now.
No, but he hardly ever does.
He didn't have a great No.
He only had 40 yards rushing.
I'm talking about is certain things, how calm he is under pressure. But it's got to go over time. But I'm watching this thing, man. I just say get better. I ain't say. I still love Russell Wilson. That's my quarterback right now. And my poor boy Tom Brady, man.
Hey, you notice one thing about it? Ain't no conversation about the MVP no more. I told you, it sorts itself out. Think about it. The best team in the league.
Russell's still there?
No.
Yeah, he is.
There's no conversation right now. You might can have it next week if Baltimore went and lost to the Jets. They play the Jets next week at home, Hatter. I don't think young fella. The Jets know what they're gonna be doing next week. They're gonna be playing a lot of second string, a lot of third strings, because now they're trying to it's kind of seeing what you got for next season. Jets have no chance. They're eliminated. When you're eliminated from the postseason, you're gonna play some of your other key guys now to get some. This is like a legal preseason game for them. But for Jackson, he trying to get that MVP. You ain't holding him to 40 yards again. Remember, it was cold as hell up there, different type of cold, you could tell. And speaking of Jackson, Hal, did you see the story? Of course, last week we couldn't miss the story about the San Francisco 49ers sportscaster, that who made the comments about the slightly with a racial undertone about Lamar Jackson and what to justify in his beliefs what makes him successful at running the ball. Well, one of the things he said, in case you missed it, was basically because of his dark skin tone. That ball which is a dark brown, and it's kind of easy to tuck it, especially if you're wearing the dark jerseys, as they do a lot of time with Buffalo. And he'd tuck that ball, and it's hard if you tuck the ball and the threading is on the inside. It's hard to kind of you lose a half second trying to figure where that ball is. That was kind of the nature of what he was saying, and got suspended for one game as a result.
And that sportcaster, by the way, is named Tim Ryan.
Tim, I can think of his last name. It was Tim. Now, here's the thing. This past Sunday, did you notice?
He had white sleeves.
What the young fella Jackson was wearing?
He didn't wear white sleeves this week, did he?
Yes. He wore white. The team wore white jerseys. But that didn't matter if they wore white tops and bottoms, because he could wear whatever color under jersey that he wanted. He could wear a black one still. He wore a white sleeve for the first time this season. Now, was that him making a statement? because nobody got to ask him about that yet. They will probably on Tuesday when they resume the practice. Nobody asked him, and once again, he only had 40 yards rushing.
That might matter.
We don't know until it happens again. Now, understand that Buffalo Bill defense is one of the tops in the league against the run. The Buffalo had already stacked the middle and said, you ain't going to beat us like this.
Yeah.
Now, this young fella threw 3 touchdowns, and he won comfortably.
Jimmy, he was making some reads, Doc. He was calm. I like it. Cool. I called him Cool Hand Luke this week. What else you got?
And so we were talking about the NFC, the 49ers, the Packers, the New Orleans Saints. How about the Saints yesterday? Man, they messed around and gave that game away at the end. That was another good game I missed. I knew it was another one. That doggone Rams and Saints game.
That was probably the best game of the year. That was probably the best game, most exciting game of the year.
I mean 49ers and Saints game.
Yeah.
That game now was off. I mean, once again, the schedule fell right into the lap of the casual fan. You ain't about to be an avid NFL fan. You're just a casual fan. That was a good schedule with some good games. And man,
touchdown after touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. You throw one, I throw one. You throw one, I throw one. I love it. I love it.
Now, once again, we talked about those Cowboys now. Don't forget. They hold the 4th seed in the NFC. They play those same Rams who went last night. Those Rams now. They woke up now, right? 8-5. They're on the outside. They play the Cowboys. So that means the Rams have more to lose than the Cowboys do. Because the Rams.
What you said, the Cowboys are the 4th seed. The Cowboys are division lead right now.
I'm saying, but if you see them all, they're the 4th seed based on those teams with their records.
Okay.
And the top 4 division winners get an automatic.
So they can't be. So they the worst of all divisions.
They're the 4th seed of those, of those 4 division winners.
Okay.
But they play the Rams, who the Rams know if they lose, they done. You see the difference now? This Cowboy team, the Cowboy fans gonna be nervous as hell this weekend. Ask them, you know what? Put them out their miseries. Take all bets.
No, Jimmy. All the Cowboys got to do, they can lose this game. All they got to do is beat Philadelphia and they in.
What? In Philly.
But I'm saying, it's hard to beat Philly. Philly is the only place in the world that snowballs Santa Claus. Them people, they threw snowballs at Santa Claus. So you can imagine what's going to happen to the Dallas Cowboys when they come up there. But it's great. Jim, you know what? I'm sitting here watching. I mean, I'm just surprised. You remember, what about the boycott? Everybody was boycotting. I'm looking at the ratings this weekend, and the NFL ratings are killing, and our basketball ratings has plummeted.
What drama?
Huh?
Drama. There's no drama in the NBA.
Okay.
There was plenty of drama that took place during the NFL season, and that's what normally brings somebody's eyes back to the screen that had drifted away. So NFL have had their fair share of allotment drama. Think about it. Think about how many quarterbacks. First of all, the year of the black quarterback. That was one. That gave a lot of people that were casual fans, especially casual fans that was African American, a reason to just pay attention, even just from afar. Then once some of these black quarterbacks start to winning, think about it. New England Patriots lost 3 games this season. All 3 losses have been to one of those 8 black quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson. Those are the 3 who beat the New England Patriots this year. That has never happened in the history of mankind. I love history, guys. You know that. I love watching.
I hate all these metrics, but keep going.
That's the truth, though. New England Patriots never lost to 3 starting black quarterbacks in the history of the franchise in one season.
And guess why? Because we got more black quarterbacks now, Jimmy. It could have happened. I mean, now they're allowing us.
That's like saying the guy who scores the most points because he's taking more shots. Well, okay, still he's averaging the most points. So we take that and run with it. Now, realize another thing was the different turmoil. Some of those black quarterbacks, a couple of them went down, lost their job. You had curiousness from even in Arizona. Could this little old Kyler Murray?
He can play.
Could he? People would think about it. All the resistance that he received. They didn't just get it wrong on Lamar Jackson.
Jim. When they take you as the #1 pick, all that other stuff is noise. They took dude at the end of Lamar Jackson at the end of the first round. When they take you at the #1 pick, don't you ever forget all that other message is noise.
Yep. And I'm looking right now, and of course, Derek Johnson said the Cowboys lose games like that when they need to win to get in. We're gonna see how it goes. Because guess what? Houston Texans fan, you can't dare cast a stone toward the Dallas Cowboys just yet. Because you could find yourself in the same situation because them Tennessee Titans are waiting. And it's just something about them Titans. Well, I'm sorry. Matter of fact, this whole week, I know how to get you guys fired up. They playing the Houston Oilers this week. The Titans are playing the Houston Oilers because that's what they are. Bud Adams took your team, took the name. He took his liquor license off the wall, moved the club across over to Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't that in Tennessee, but Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Now, think about it. So now, somehow, what happened to the days where somehow you can get fired with friendly fire can get into your belly. So
I don't think I don't know if the Texans fans have a disdain for the Tennessee fans. Like
exactly, they had a disdain for Bud Adams.
Right.
They didn't have a disdain. My thing is, anytime you see that they took your colors, he took the color and used them. I mean, anytime you see that, that should be reason to just go, oh man, oh hell. Oh, you say, oh man, that happened. That was 20 years ago. Okay, if that's how you want to roll with it. But bottom line, that's somehow who was the rivalry for the Houston Texans? You're 20 years in. Who's the rivalry? Every team out there has a rival. So you mean to think about it? Who's the rival? I don't know. So is it time to create a rivalry? If nothing else, this would be the perfect time for a Houston Texans fan to just push the envelope and just throw something out there. You know what? I know I'm mad at you.
Jimmy, usually a rivalry is when people have championships under their belt. Usually, I have fought for a championship or doing something, and just maybe we don't have a rival because we did have a rivalry against the Indianapolis Colts. You know, when it was a little, they used to call that a rivalry a little bit, but I mean, that's the only people I would say we ever had a rivalry with, the Texans. It's weird. You know, I thought you said we had to win, huh?
In Houston, see, Tennessee Titans don't really have an incentive to be mad at the Houston Texans.
Right.
But the Houston Texans, you got 2 or 3 reasons you can be mad at them.
Man.
Just stop right there, Howard.
Okay.
If you're a Houston Texans fan, I can give you another reason you can be mad at the Tennessee Titans.
All right, give me one.
Vincent Young. Think about how that man did Vincent Young. Now don't get it twisted. Vincent Young is not without blame. But
what did he do to Vincent Young? He just didn't pick him.
No, didn't pick him. What you mean? He didn't pick him. He was a starting quarterback. He had a super record as a starter.
I thought you were talking about the Oilers. I'm sorry. You talking about Jeff Fisher?
Yes, Jeff.
Now
Fisher.
you remember this the same guy who was acting crazy with Jared Goff. That's why they fired him.
Jeff Fisher, wasn't it?
Yes. Fired him after one season. With Jared Goff, they fired him.
That wasn't gonna work against a white quarterback. They can do it. They can do it against a black quarterback.
Boy,
that's what it is. I mean, no, Harold. I need you to take a deep breath. I need you to give us some intel.
Okay.
On what, because it's over now.
Yeah.
What did Jeff Fisher do to help with the demise? Because we knew Vincent Young had mentally he wasn't in a good place. But what did Jeff Fisher do, or what could he not have done to help save or Vincent Young?
Jimmy, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I didn't look at that. You're speaking to the wrong person. I didn't look at that that situation that in depth. Because Vince was a starter. Vince was a Pro Bowler. Vince played well. Jeff Fisher is just a butthole. He proved that in his next stop. And guess what? He haven't got another job since, because people found out who he actually was. I don't really know what happened between him and Vince Young, but in quarterbacks are such, we talking about players and egos. You was talking about the young players in their fragile egos. Imagine being a quarterback. Jimmy, the quarterback position is one of the, Jimmy, I remember flying on the plane with I forgot his name. Played for Oklahoma. The slim guy, what's his name? I played for Oklahoma. White kid, man, and his name is, I'm flying on a plane with him. But quarterbacks just got a certain aura about themselves. And dude, it ain't but 32 of us in the whole world, NFL quarterbacks. So they have to be managed different than other quarterbacks. Think about quarterback. I want you to think about 3 quarterbacks right now. Tom Brady, winning record. Jacoby Brissett, winning record. Jimmy Garoppolo, winning record. What's common with all 3 of those guys? They came out of Bill Belichick's system. And Bill Belichick's assistant coach, the quarterback coach there. His name gonna come to, I've got so much stuff I'm thinking about. But Jimmy, quarterbacks got to be handled different. Jeff Fisher just didn't handle that man right. I don't know why, because guess what? He did the same thing to Jared Goff. He just didn't have, quarterbacks got to be managed different. And I know y'all talking, all those people out there, well, they all on the same team. They all on the same, it should be, the score should be the same and everybody should be, no. Quarterbacks are different, Jimmy. Quarterbacks are the guys who the owners invite to the mansion. I'm going to repeat that, Jimmy. Around their friends. The quarterback is the face of your franchise. So, like I said, I don't know what happened in that situation because Vince Young was very talented. You don't go from being a Pro Bowl to can't play in that short of time unless something else went on. And I just don't have. And guess what, Jimmy? It might have been some off-the-field stuff that I'm not privy to. So that's it. Josh McDaniels, I'm sorry.
Jeff Fisher, his treatment he deliberately hindered Vince Young. He wanted Vince Young to think about it like this. That head coach in Baltimore, let's say if that was Jeff Fisher, or most of the coaches in the league,
good one.
They wouldn't have altered their offense to give this quarterback a chance to exhibit his most prized asset, and that's his legs. Not many coaches would do that. Understand times have changed, and this is, a decade and a half later.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, though. You get paid that type of money to evaluate, first of all, through your whole system, your organization, you evaluate these guys, you draft him, but then in your mind, you're going to turn him into what you want him to be. They've done this to many quarterbacks that have been of African American who've came through the NFL, came into the league, and they knew they were going to turn them into something else. Remember, it seeped out a rumor that was blatantly denied by Baltimore, accusing one of the GMs, the former assistant GM, came back and accused and said that management was contemplating turning Lamar Jackson into another position. They denied it, but that's what they're supposed to do. They're denying and deal with it on their side of the fence. But once again, we've been programming that's what makes it so great for Lamar Jackson, is because of the fact that he's in the position right now where he has used his position, his platform, to open the door for a lot of running quarterbacks in high school now, that a lot of Power 5, a lot of big time, a lot of Division I programs would naturally overlook and go through the same process, because they would say, well, if at the next level, they would never let this guy be a quarterback at the next level. So allow me to go in on as a college coach to move him into a position that he probably can be recruited, drafted as, or get a job in the NFL as, or better. So there's no sense of wasting his time. He done the prototype. But now, remember that Lamar's not the first one to do it. What he's done is he's just doing it right now just as good or better than the previous one, which was a Michael Vick. Deshaun Watson, whether you like it or not, Deshaun Watson does not, we know Deshaun Watson can run. We saw him do it for 3 years at Clemson. We know he has legs and he got an arm. Deshaun Watson has already been reprogrammed. And because here's what happens if you run. If you run, you better get some yards. You better get that first down. Because after a while, those receivers are not going to be willing to run those same routes with the same velocity, with the same passion, if I know you're going to run that ball and you're going to get it. It's like I'm wasting my time. So this kid in Baltimore, everybody is bought in. He doesn't have the type of, those receivers, they're sacrificing for the winning of the team. Now, don't get it twisted. And sooner or later, law of averages, you can rest assured, man, there's some defensive player out there that's going to pop the hell out of Lamar Jackson soon and very soon. And watch what happens, how the narratives change once he gets hit that one time. It don't take but one hit. You know what they're going to say? I knew it. See, shouldn't be running. It's going to be that one hit. And just watch. Remember this. The chop shop told you first. Once he gets hit one time, it's about a good, solid hit, then watch how everybody going to come from behind the trees, up underground, up under the rocks. They're going to get to telling you, see, I knew this wouldn't work. See, that quarterback, that's why they don't do that. It's going to depend on how Jackson runs after he gets cracked one time. It's going to happen. Every player in the league going to get cracked sooner or later. Every running back going to get cracked. Every wide receiver going to get cracked. Did you see what Deshaun Watson almost did to his star wide receiver yesterday? Toward the end of the game?
No, I missed it. What happened?
You guys out there see what happened. What's the name? Hopkins?
Hopkins. What did he do to Hopkins?
What Deshaun Watson did to Hopkins yesterday is, from what I understand in the sport of football, it's like the ultimate no-no. It's no-no. You, as a quarterback, from what I've been told, that you never set your wide receiver up to possibly end his career with an over-the-middle pass across across the seam. He threw that ball, and Hopkins went to go get that ball, and that boy could have ended Hopkins' career. He hit him pretty good, but it was a legal hit.
But guess what? Hopkins always go over the middle.
No. But it was a lame duck pass. It wasn't. It had some speed on it, but it was a setup. He was about to get sacked, and he saw him, and he had a lot of time in the pocket. We mean John Watson. You guys saw that, and man, he got. Hey, he tried to get up, Hannah. They said, "Hold on, you sit there for a little while." I know, he got his bell rang. It was a legal hit.
Wide receiver, that happens to wide receiver sometime, man.
Yeah, I know, but your star one, you're supposed to do that to your third. Your star one's supposed to be catching that one. Not like that one. Not your star.
I haven't seen it yet. But
yeah,
hey.
Yeah.
Well, go put on a skirt and don't play then. That's what I say.
I'm just saying though, but had that been, there are a lot of guys would have took a 15-yard penalty. Remember, look what the score was, Hal. They were getting the snot beat out of them.
Jimmy, I didn't even watch the game. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I slept through the whole game. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I went to church and came home, took some cold medicine, and I slept. So guess what? I didn't see. All I've seen is highlights, and I have not seen that. But I'm gonna go back. I taped the game, so I'm gonna go back and watch it.
Oh man, just go to the fourth quarter. And so that's kind of like on that topic on the Texans.
Jim, hold up, Jim. I just scrolled through my Twitter right quick, right? And what his name? Shams Charania, one of the NBA Beats guys. I'm sorry, Shams. I messed up your name. The Grizzlies says former number 1 overall pick Josh Jackson will not play in the G League today due to violation of team rules. Man, you already is not you're the number 4 pick in the draft. They don't want you on the actual team. So you go to the G League team and you will not play in the game tonight due to violation of team rules. Now we need to get back to that subject that you was talking about earlier. I mean, you can get to it, but I know we got to go. But Jimmy, that just popped up on me. Come on, man.
What you saying?
You tell me. I just gave you the news. Yeah. Listen, y'all. Do y'all know how hard it is to become? Maybe y'all don't understand how hard it is to become the number 4 pick in the draft. You got R.J. Hampton going all the way overseas to put himself in a position to be drafted like this. This guy didn't have to do that. He went to Kansas? Went to Kansas, messed up a little bit up there. Then he go to Phoenix, messed up a lot out there. When they traded him, y'all, let me help y'all. Then they traded him to Memphis. Derek Lane, Cecil Dutton, Anthony Weston, you explain this to me. Kenneth Gamble, you explain this to me. Derek Johnson, you explain this to me. They get rid of him and send him to Memphis. Guess what Memphis said? Memphis said, wait, I did my intel. Hey, homeboy, you don't even have to come to Memphis. You just, the 4th pick overall now, mamas and daddies out there who want their kids to be drafted, the 4th pick overall, they tell him, Jimmy, don't even show up in Memphis. You just go and to our G League team. We don't want you around our guys on this team. We don't want you around John Morant. We don't want you around Jaren Jackson. Just go over there. And then they sent him over there. K. Cole Grace. They sent him over there. And then he can't follow the rules over in the G League. Come on, man. I done had my say, Jimmy. I just can't believe. Some of this stuff, I just can't believe.
No. I mean, one thing about this young man is that you realize everybody gives you guys signs. You get signs all over from various people. They give you signs if you're paying attention. So with him, he had problems in Phoenix that beat him to Miami. So Miami was like, I mean, not Miami, Memphis.
Yeah.
And Memphis was like, hold on, you know, we know, just go over there. Just don't, you know, come over here. We're going to put you in a hotel for a little while. And so now I do know that his mother was in town to see him just last week. Something might have happened while his mother, because his family has been somewhat at odds, and which a lot of families do as a result of a family member coming into a lot of money that you're not used that are used to. And sometimes, you know, he make it, and then we go to say we made it. Remember, he made it, but then the family say we made it. Then after a period of time, he has to remind the we that no, it's not a we. He made it.
But some players do say that, Jimmy, to their families. I know of a player, I'm not calling, he said, we done made it. Some players do that. I don't know about this situation, but I've heard it come out of a player's mouth, tell his family, this our money, but keep going. And they treated it like it was their money though, but keep going.
So that's, and so it's, man, one of the things about it is that, once again, I said, and it applies no matter what sport. Remember this, guys, and I use this cliche and this t-shirt material. When the talent is greater than the problem, people will deal with you. But once the problem is greater than the talent, you become expendable. That's what we see with this young man. Not the first, he's not the last. Shout out to Bilal Badley, who just joined on the Facebook feed. The University of Houston Cougars went on the road and beat the snot out of South Carolina.
Big win. Big win.
Over the weekend. And once again, Quentin Grimes led them in scoring. So to season to date, it seems like Quentin Grimes has done pretty good with the University of Houston. Did a great job, except for one blurb, and that is that game on the road against Oregon, where he finished with only 8 points against a bunch of a team with majority 4-star players. The more and that's the only blurb. Right now, guess what? Quentin Grimes has emerged. This team is not the same team from last year. Kevin Sampson is the first. He would not hesitate to remind people during interviews. A lot of guys had to change their roles with this team this year. It's not the same as last year. And you know what? That's a good coach. If you're getting results, if you're getting good results, after you made a decision to switch things up, because normally coaches who've been around as long as he has, they'll be like, well, it's my way or the highway. I'm looking for somebody to fit this peg, that peg, and this is the way I've been doing this for years, and it worked for me. Well, then you have other coaches who's saying, well, you know what? I can't turn a poodle into a pit bull. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rock with what I got. We're gonna switch gears a little bit because we don't have that type of personnel. We don't have a bunch of gunslingers in the perimeter in the backcourt. You don't.
They gotta play deco.
So they do it the old-fashioned gritty way. That's why guys like Chris Harris has started 3-4 games this year. And in some games, he played 10 minutes or less. You get it by committee. We was at the game with Texas State last week. How did we get to see Texas State play at the University of Houston at the wonderful, luxurious Fertitta Center? And I don't think, what's my guy name from Klein Forest with the dreads?
Jimmy, he had his thigh wrapped up, and Bilal might have he had his thigh wrapped up real tight.
He didn't touch the court.
He didn't even take his shirt off, Jimmy. I think and Bilal can help us out a little bit with that with Cedric Alley.
Yeah.
Cedric Alley, he had a big wrap around his, not a sleeve, but a wrap around his thigh. So maybe they can help us with that. But you know what? It was so unique that Kelvin Sampson was talking about the game last night. He said they went to war in practice that week because after that Texas State game, Texas State was handing it to them guys to me. He said I kept the first on that next day. He said I kept the first team out on defense for an hour and 45 minutes straight. The first team had the Jimmy. Can you imagine that in practice? I don't know what's the equivalent of that in basketball, but an hour and 45 minutes straight, Jimmy. Kelvin Sampson kept the first team on defense. Don't you know how mad you are as a player that you don't get a chance to shoot it? Oh, you got to play for defense for an hour? Can you imagine? What's the equivalent of that in baseball? You got your star players doing something. What? Huh?
Same thing, being on defense.
Oh, being on defense. Jimmy, he said, this was the first time I looked at them and said, you know, you guys have a chance to be pretty good. And he was talking about, then he talked about, you know, I got to talk about this because they'll be tearing his head off and talking about me if I didn't. Because I predicted a great season for Quentin Grimes. And he had a great line last night. I don't know if you looked at it, Jimmy. He turned the ball over 7 times. And coach said, man, we just got to keep working on taking care of the ball. He said, I can rebound on missed shots. He said, I can't rebound on turnover. Man, get the shot up. So, hey, man, that Kelvin Sampson is a coach amongst coaches. And I take a shot out there. Did you read Bilal's comments? So you might can comment. Bilal just commented.
Well, Bilal provided some understanding to this team. It's a young team, growing pains. The players improving, they're buying into the roles. The last 3 years had 3 to 5 seniors. This year we have only 1 senior. We meaning the Houston Cougars.
Right.
So 1 senior. That means now every time they lose, they're gonna say we young. Remember but when they win, then it's gonna be everything is coming together. So,
but Jimmy, in his defense, I've learned in basketball, just because you played a little bit last year, do not mean your role changed the next year, right? So you're in a different role than you were last year. You know, you might have played a little bit in little spot minutes last year, but when your role changed, it's a little bit different. So, I mean, it's kind of unique now. I mean, when your role change, that means you walking in there as a starter now. Last year, you was a guy coming off the bench.
And speaking, and that's what, understand, once again, University of Houston, they have only 1 senior on the team this season, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's why stuff is so funny. So, I mean, everybody comes back next year. So if you're incoming freshman at University of Houston, right? Or if you have an incoming freshman that's coming in, how Tremont Mark is 1.
Yes.
So I mean that's 1 minute slot. That's once again, if this was a conventional coach, this is how it would be. That would be however many minutes that 1 senior is playing right now. That would probably be the measuring stick of the slot that would be available, because based on the fact that you're thinking that everybody's going to improve over the next 10 months, going into the next season. Every player that's an underclassman now is going to improve. So if you're going to improve, then you're probably going to play more. Then that means so now, at the best case scenario, we only got this slot available to apply for some newcomers. Tremont Mark is 1. Little Shed kid, the kid from Manor High School is another. The guard. So how much do you expect these guys to play as freshmen? Now, there's a possibility that Quentin Grimes can go and they can hit a seam in March and get back to the Sweet 16. And Quentin Grimes, guess what? He's gone. He's gone. You can rest assured if that happens. But this team doesn't. And as Bilal said, let's see in mid-January how these Cougars are.
That's
after they face Memphis.
Yes.
After they face Memphis, which would be their best measuring stick in conference play, as far as playing against playing against guys who are. Remember, I said the stars. They will be playing against 4 to 5 stars. 60 to 80% of that starting lineup is going to be 4 to 5 star players. So that would be a hell of a measuring stick because know what that means? In that game, it won't be just 2 NBA guys in the stands or 4 NBA guys or 6. It'll be 20.
Easy. Easy.
It will.
But what is that? Oh, okay. But Jimmy, I got Jeremy Davis said something, and I want you to comment on it. He said Kevin Sampson. Jeremy is on our Facebook feed. He said Kevin Sampson is a good coach that has not won a championship. I'm just saying. Dude, there's a lot of coaches that ain't won a championship. That's why I be mad at y'all when y'all be messing with me about James Harden. It's a lot of players ain't won a championship. That don't mean you're not successful. Because you have not won a championship. It's a lot of luck going to win a championship. Did Brad Stevens win a championship? He went to the Final Four, but he didn't win, did he? Did Butler win? No, but they saying he the greatest coach since sliced bread.
Well, that's remember, pay attention to the author or the angle of the narrative. And that's the thing. We don't do it. We've been systematically programmed. We don't pay attention to it. We discredit when the narrative comes from a chop shop, but you give credit if it came from Woj or something else, which I'm not saying you're not supposed to. But the point that you would automatically discredit if you hear from the chop shop, know what the first thing you do say?
What?
Let me go check.
Yes.
Let me go check.
I told you what my partner did me.
You see? And so so I understand that. But some of you guys got to get better at, you still can go check, but not, you don't have to let me know, let me go check. That's disrespectful. That's what it is. You don't sit there and say, I done told you, ask me a question, I'm telling you, and you, well, let me go double check on this. You watch those guys on TV or read them on ESPN, you see them every other day, and they saying something, and they got to come back and backtrack, or they say something,
yes,
or they incorrectly predict the team gonna win, and they don't, or vice versa. Every week.
Jimmy, hold on. I love that. Glad you went there, Jimmy. Jimmy, I know you talked about the who won the tournament, Summer Creek winning the tournament. Yeah. Hold on now. Martin Ranch won a tournament too this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They won the Katy tournament. Okay? Jimmy, one of the fans, and I hope he watching today, one of the fans told Jeffrey Day, I heard the fans in the stands, I didn't understand what they were talking about. We wasn't picked. We were supposed to be talking about Klein Forest. They were supposed to be picked to go to the bronze bracket. So the fans was talking about, huh?
By whom? Remember, see,
hold up, Jeffrey Day.
Oh, he did.
So I was sitting there next to Doug. So me and Doug, I'm just sitting there laughing, cause I told you PGW was on an all-time high. Hey, listen, y'all, parents, I love you to death. But in a quiet gym, parents, you can't be hurling, cussing and hurling out cussing. I know that parent hadn't seen the chop shop because I was sitting right there close by him, and I know he hadn't. He was cussing so bad because it wasn't loud in there, because there wasn't a lot of fans in there, that the referee was smart enough to know what happens in Katy. He went to one of the guys and said, man, do me a favor and go up there and tell that parent to calm down. Because Jimmy, 3 seconds right after the man told him, the police came from outside the door inside the door. Parents, PGWs, Parents Goes Wild, we got to have a better decorum and a better way to act at high school basketball games. We taking it a little too far. We're taking it a little too far, you know. And I understand. I mean, I heard so much in the stands this weekend, Jimmy. But Jimmy, they own a Jimmy. And tell me this, and you can help me with this. When did private school start going at it? The coaches get you getting at it. When did the private school start doing this?
Well, you see it happen now.
I didn't see it. It was reported to me. One of my sources, and his name happened to be Big Doug, told me he went to St. John's, played who? Is it Houston Christian? St. John's, Houston Christians. No, excuse me, St. Thomas. St. Thomas.
Okay, yeah, they played each other over the weekend.
The coaches got into it.
Really?
They sat in the handshake line.
So after the game is over.
Yeah, but it was going through. When did private schools start doing this? They said the game was a little testy. Thank you, Jeffrey, for. I'm glad I called you out from behind your bushes, but it was St. Thomas and Houston Christian. I just want to know, Jimmy, when did Jimmy? Guess what? I heard some more news about, and I know I'm all over the place. I heard some more news about the Madison versus Bel Air. They talking about the inadequate security and the inability of the police to identify problems. They let a lady from an opposing team go outside by herself. They inside trying to get people out the gym, but the lady outside getting beat up because wasn't nobody patrolling the outside of eating environment. PGWs, Parent Gone Wild. Jimmy, you the gatekeeper. You the high school guru. What's going on out there, man?
I mean, now, of course, the Mr. Bel Air and Madison played late last week, and that game resulted in a brawl, which included players and spectators. Nobody was seriously injured. There was an arrest or two made, but I'm not sure if anybody actually went to jail. You know, you can be apprehended and handcuffed, but not, somebody, I'm not sure if anybody went to jail. I spoke with both of the coaches over the weekend. I actually saw the head coach from Madison on Saturday morning and explained to me that basically everybody who left his bench will be suspended for one game. One of his star player, I think he's told me that the suspension for him is 4 games.
What?
For the star player. This is coming from the head coach of Madison. There still was some back and forth over who actually started or threw the first punch. And throwing the first punch is being, what I've saw the video, and throwing the first punch seems that it can be confused with who passed the first lick or who touched who first. Remember now, basketball is a contact sport, but in this situation, it was definitely one of those things where 2 wrongs don't make a right. HISD, they, from my understanding, had about somewhere around near a half dozen officers there. But once again, I think the Houston Independent School District needs to have implement more training for their officers to be able to understand situations. Because far too often you go to a lot of the games and there's too much talking with the fans, talking in the stands, too much friendliness instead of patrolling. There's some stuff that could be going on. And your job is kind of like your part of your job is to man a post and make sure the environment is safe. But you could tell if you're watching the game, you could tell if smoke. Understand, we all have common sense levels and elements of common sense inside of us. Some are greater than others. We all have, to a certain extent, street sense, that some are greater than others. We simplify that fraction and say, for example, if you are at home and if you smell, you smell smoke, you smell something being burnt, to some kid, they might not know what that smell means. But to you, the grown up, you done been around burnt food before. You know somebody got something burning. You see, that's how it is in life. So that's how there was some police officers. I just think that was a botched deal all the way around. And guess what? You atone for it. You deal with it as a school district. And remember now, we're talking about a school district already in the midst of a takeover. Adam, a takeover.
That's right.
So who's in charge may not really be in charge. They got other stuff to worry about than that. They might say, well, hell, did nobody get hurt? That means nobody went to worry about no law. Well, guess what? If the lawsuits could come. But the thing is the environment of HISD, almost every facility in Houston Independent School District, as it stands, has either been renovated or brand new. Almost every basketball and football facility in that district has either been renovated in the past 5 years or is brand new.
I heard a new term too, Jimmy, this weekend. Get your stats up. We're losing anyway. Get your stats up.
That's what they're trying to do. Because and you know what?
The parent was saying it, man.
I'm not mad. If you're losing, you better. If you're right. I'm here to say it. If you're losing, you better get your numbers up, because that means it's gonna help justify. You won't the blame won't totally be on you. If you are deemed and have been deemed as the most recruitable or the highest ranked player on that losing team, if your ass is losing, you better get paid.
Get your money. Get your money. That what you be saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the truth. So tournaments around the area this next weekend. You mentioned a couple of them, and I want to go and allow some shine to go towards a lot of the young men.
Yeah.
I mentioned at the top of the show, just tuning in, I mentioned Summer Creek High School. Summer Creek High School, they went and won the Carlisle Kruger Classic. Summer Creek beat Beaumont United in the semifinals and proceeded to beat Bush in the championship. Summer Creek right now is, I think, 12-3 on the season. They're ranked number 2 in the state. Beaumont United is number 3 in the state. On RCS Sports, we will release. We haven't updated the team rankings since the beginning of the season, since the magazine. And by the way, speaking of the magazine, if you hadn't got your copy of this thing, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you one quick example at the front of the magazine. This right here is the district schedule. Right? So you can go and keep going online if you want. Think about how much time it takes you to go right there and click on Max Preps and go up your team. Then they got to click and find out who they play on your cell phone. Easy on the computer, but on your cell phone. But with this, you get a copy and you keep on your coffee table or on your desk at work. Let's say today is December the 9th.
Yeah.
Right? There's no district. These are the district schedules. There's no district games on tap around the area today. But there's a bunch of them tomorrow. A bunch tomorrow.
Right.
And guess what? I help you guys out and give you some of the tips for tomorrow. Just a head start. I'm gonna give you three games. Just 3.
Give us 3.
Just three. On Tuesday, December the 10th, some games to see will be Spring Branch Memorial at Cy-Fair.
Why? Why that game?
Why that game?
Yeah.
Well, because both teams have college. Memorial has two young men that are going to college. Well, Division I prospects, I would say. Memorial has one young man going to Air Force, right? Mm-hmm. They have another young man that's signed with a non-Division I school. They have another young man that's a Division I prospect, and that's a D1 prospect, not a hardcore no-brainer, but he's depending on what he does this summer, he could play his way into Division I favor, and that's the son of Mario Ellis, right? Cy-Fair, they're in the same situation. They have a couple of kids that's gonna play college basketball at the next level. They have the big fella, Big Jake, about 6'7". They have size. So this game is gonna be good tomorrow. Another one tomorrow for you guys to see around Greater Houston. Manville at Shadow Creek. This is the district opener. Once again, Manville at Shadow Creek. I'll put it like this. Shadow Creek is ranked number 5 in the state right now. Manville is ranked number 7 in the state right now. So I ain't got to say no more. Number 5 in the state versus number 7 in the state, according to TABC, the Texas Association of Basketball Coaches. That's another game tomorrow to go see, right? A third game on the tap that if I'm around, you're in Greater Houston, that you guys can go and check out. I give you Angleton at Hightower. That's a district opener. Hightower, they've been rolling in the state. They're number 10 in the state, right? And this team will be their second game playing with their entire team. Angleton, football season is over with for them, but they have a couple of players in scrapping. It's good enough to keep this thing interesting. And this game, if you're living in Fort Bend area, that would be one of the games to see. That's just 3 of the many on tap. My point is, this thing is only $5. This is just 2 pages. These are all the district schedules all the way through the season, guys. All the way through the season. The district schedule. Look how far I'm going. I'm just turning pages. These are district schedules. With a lot of other stuff in here. It's the magazine. And guess what? Now you understand how the pages are so thick. It's because if it was the thin pages that now people use when they print amateur magazines, or magazines in amateur sports, you would have rubbed all the ink off of them by the time February or March comes around. So I went and I made sure it cost me extra money to print this stuff on quality paper. There's nobody that's going to spend the money to print that magazine on extra paper. It would mess with their margins, their profit margin. Me, I'm not caring about that. I just want you guys to get one in your hand. You can find locations on the front of rcssports.com. Go to their website, rcssports.com.
Jimmy, speaking of your magazine, it was something unique that I found handy when I was watching. I was at the Katy tournament. Got a chance to watch West Side. Oh, my goodness. My son's former team. But I used the magazine a lot this weekend. This is the first time I really just said this thing is handy, y'all. I'm from a practical purpose. Jimmy, I had a situation. I don't know if I told you about it. I had a situation. I was watching Klein Forest play against Cy Lakes, I think. So this kid from Klein Forest, I mean, y'all got to realize, I've never seen Klein Forest play. But if he keep doing this here, I might have another nephew. But what happened was, I looked in the program that the Katy ISD gave me. They had his name. He happened to have a twin brother. And it had his name was wrong. I mean, they had his name. So I was asking people, wait a minute. Then I looked in your magazine. I saw where this brother was ranked. One of the brothers was ranked. Then I kept looking. I see the other brother wasn't ranked. So they mixed up the names in the magazine in Katy. Mm-hmm. But this guy, Dalen, I hope I say his name, Dalen Hamilton.
Yeah.
Y'all got to remember, if I'm remembering his name, he got to be special. But this young man, I was so proud. Dude. So, you know what I'm saying? I looked and I saw where he was ranked, Jim.
What is he in the magazine?
I think 31.
So he's 31 in the magazine.
Had 38 in this game.
So he's 31 in the magazine.
Okay.
And normally there's around the average over the past 10 years, Division I signees out of Greater Houston, the average is about 31. So if you're in the range and you're ranked, let's say 33 on higher, then it's possible that you are a Division I prospect if you're in the 12th grade. If you're in the 12th grade, that don't necessarily mean true for the 10th grade. But if you're in the 12th grade and you're ranked 33 up, then you are possibly a Division I prospect. Now, however, 12th graders don't have much time. They don't have no more summer basketball to play on the sneaker circuits for most of them. Now, what I did was, I'm going to explain to you guys, so people about rankings. Dalen Hamilton, what was he ranked earlier this year? Earlier this year, this same young man, by going to the cheat sheet book, this is a cheat sheet book for the spring of 2019.
Okay.
This book is what goes out to the college coaches, right? Been printing these books out since 2001, guys. Now, this is the spring issue. I look at him. This is the class of 2020. This is all I give the college coaches is 30 players.
Okay.
That's why. That's about the range of Division I players.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
To Division I coaches.
Was Dalen on this one?
Huh?
Was Dalen on that one?
This one, he was ranked number 22.
So he dropped down. Okay.
No, and explain how you dropped down.
Okay.
He played for a sneaker program in summer. He played on a sneaker program, and guess what? That means, what does that mean? Well, a lot of people play for sneaker program. Well, he played. He wasn't just on the sneaker program. He played on the Adidas circuit. Mm-hmm. Every time they played on the live period, 4 or 5 games, each time they played in the live period.
Okay.
Each time they played, it had to be about 50 coaches at every game. Collectively, that's 200 coaches that I saw you play over the course of a weekend, 200 to 250, on 2 separate occasions. You had 4 games to just get one to like you enough to say, you know what, I'm going to give it an official visit and bring your family on this campus.
Gotcha.
You just one to like you that much. Understand, guys, we go and people play on sneaker teams, and then you look for somebody to blame. Whatever you got to do to get somebody's attention, and I'm going to tell you, you might laugh. A lot of times we go to these games, we see some of these kids with funny hair. You know what? Colors in the hair. Some people have ponytails. Some kids have afro puffs. Some people wearing Mitch Mac shoes now, Hal.
I saw that. I saw that.
Mitch Mac shoes, Mitch Mac socks. What you do to get somebody's attention, because if you think somebody's sleeping on you, better do something to wake them up. That's the easy way to get somebody. Now, your game is going to keep their attention. But you got to do something.
Jim.
Wear a pink shirt up on your thing. Wear some pink socks. I don't care. Say you're doing it for Kev. Do something.
Jim, you already know the dude had to be. For me to call that for name first out on this show, And then he followed it up with a 24 point performance, but they got beat by he had to go up against LJ, and that LJ had 42. So yeah, but he did follow it up. He got a little money, but Jimmy, I got to shout out this little young kid because I asked some people about him because his parents had mentioned him to me, and first game I watched him, he had pretty steady. Then he came and had a 20-point performance against Morton Ranch also. And his name happened to be Marlon Williams, the guard. And I mean, he shot it well. He defended. I mean, before I went to that tournament, Robert Hatter did not know who Marlon Williams or Dalen Hamilton is. But guess what? I know who they are now. They didn't come with a name with me. That's why I like to go see these guys' parents myself, because I hear about them from other people. But I'm telling you, the first time I saw, and then they got a kid from Jimmy on Clay and Salt Lakes. I like Davon. I don't know his name. Devon something on Salt Lake's team.
Now, I'm familiar with the Williams kid because the Williams kid had the brother that played. Remember, he had the brother. We talked about him on the Chop Shop last year. The brother went and played for the Big Baller Brand League last season. His brother played in Klein Forest and did not. I guess he decided to forego the college to play, forego his college eligibility. And played the Big Baller Brand last season, the Williams older brother. So Williams has been a kid that's been we've had him under the radar and had him in our rankings for years up in the RCS Sports, and he's at Klein Forest. And guess what? They're getting it done. Speaking of Klein Forest, I want to give you guys an update. Last week we mentioned there was a couple of starters from a team, but it was Klein Collins High School, not Klein Forest, Klein Collins, where there was a situation where some young men got caught in the restroom with some funny-looking cigarettes.
And, Jimmy, I want to correct myself. Thank you so much, Jeffrey Day. Jimmy, it wasn't Salt Lakes. It was Salt Springs. I apologize. It was Salt Springs. Devon Wright. I am so –
Devon Wright.
I'm so – I apologize. I don't know. It's too many of them sides. I get them sides mixed up. So, y'all got to understand, I don't come – and, Jimmy, if one more parent – hey, let me tell you something. Jimmy is the high school basketball guru. And what he talk about on this show, that's his opinion. They're not necessarily my opinions. So he see more of y'all than I do. So I don't want you blaming me when Jimmy get to talking about your kid and talk. That ain't me. I don't mind the heat. But let me be the reason for the heat. I want all the smoke, but let it be my smoke. So I just want to let people, because people say, well, if he's up there saying it and you on the show with him, then you must agree. Hell no. In every other talk show, we both, if Jimmy and I always agree on everything, we no reason for us to be on a show. He got opinions. So, and Jimmy, I came across that. It kind of broke my heart a little bit. So the parents just don't come at me. Well, he said this, and you said that. You didn't say. I said, I got to let him speak what that's what he believes in. It don't necessarily what I believe in. And I hope that clear this up. Please share this show, because some of y'all who be mad at me might not. Please share it. My opinions are my own. Okay, now we can get back to it. Jimmy, dude, they been killing me.
Well, let me tell y'all something, guys. Y'all, let me remind you. Since fall of 2000, RCS Sports was founded. And I've been doing this stuff for quite some time. And a lot of the things as parents just want to vent. A lot of times, people just want to vent.
Okay.
So I understand that. But in the process, if you find somebody venting to you about somebody who's not there, me, if I'm not there, then just let them know. Give them Give him my phone number. One thing about it, if you go to RCS Sports, that website, and look at the top and it says contact us. Now I might change the number now and add one of these other telephones. As it stands, I have my main phone number on the front of that website, which is public information for everybody to see, no matter how old they are. And guess what I do? I return all phone calls. I return all text messages. And once again, told you, I'm rare. So if somebody is venting or they feel the need to, first of all, just direct them to the website.
Jimmy, they wasn't venting. They was just saying and thinking, I agree with everything you said. That's the point. They wasn't venting to me. They was all right with what you said. They just wasn't all right with me agreeing. They was all right. Hold on. They expect that from Jimmy. But from old Robert, they expect, I guess, I don't know. I mean, Jimmy, I said, what the hell? But that's all. I mean, I done got it out there. So, hey, we all right now. I mean, Jimmy, look what that time is, Jimmy.
Oh, man. Yeah, man.
Time fly when you're having fun, baby.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm sure, of course, Herb Baker, we found the mystery has been solved as to why Herb Baker was the only person that had not received his magazine. And that's because the address was incorrectly written on the envelope. and it finally, because it hadn't been returned. That was the thing. Okay. So if it hadn't been returned, I'm like, well, hell, somebody stole the magazine. It finally was returned on Saturday. So that's the reason why Herb Baker had received his magazine. So now we went then on Saturday, thanks to North Shore and the Atascocita football game, you guys, that game, which I attended to on Saturday, was hell. I'm quite sure, I'm going to go on the line and say those two basketball teams, when they played, both times they played this season, no, that's right. They're not in the same district anymore. But North Shore and Atascocita, the basketball teams, when they play, they won't score more than the combined total of the football game.
Oh man, don't do that, man.
How about this final score? 76-49. They combined, the two football teams, North Shore and Atascocita, combined for 125 points.
Okay. I didn't know it was that many.
In the football game. And North Shore, North Shore looked very, very good. Atascocita is good. They just got behind in the second quarter, and it was nothing much they could do as far as swapping back. Because you got to, not only do you have to swap scores with North Shore, but you also have to get a stop.
Swap stops.
You see, that was what they weren't able to do. And all the other scores around the area. Westfield beat Dallas Jesuit. So Aldine Spring Westfield is in the state semifinals this weekend. They will play Denton Guyer. Katy Taylor is playing Austin Westlake this weekend. That's the 6A Division II. So you know what that means, guys? Right. There's a possibility that two Houston teams could meet in the state championship in the highest classification. That's 6A, but they're divided in two regions. Right. You have not regions, but divisions. You have a 6A Division I and a 6A Division II. How are those teams separated by enrollment? They're separated by enrollment for football. And basketball is just one division. Okay. Of the per classification until you get down to 1A. Now, once again, in Division I, North Shore will play Austin Lake Travis this Saturday. Austin Lake Travis, that's North Shore. And Duncanville will play Rockwall. Duncanville and North Shore are both one win away from the long-awaited and highly anticipated rematch. Remember, 1 year ago, approximately, North Shore won on the heartbreaking Hail Mary which made it to ESPN, the number one on ESPN's top 10, and at the buzzer to win the game.
Right.
This game, if North Shore wins, it would take place on the state championship Saturday. I want to say it's 6 or 7 p.m. at the AT&T Stadium in Dallas, right outside of Dallas, Texas, where the Cowboys play it. Yes, that game is expecting. People are expecting upwards around 50,000 fans could be in attendance for that game, Hal. 50,000. They're saying it's a number they estimate.
I know we give North Shore a lot of love, but please explain to me this 5A. Hey, Shadow Creek is going back again.
They have 2 divisions in 5A as well. Division 1, Division 2. So in our Division 1 in 5A, on one is 8 semifinals. We are. It means you only suspend the whole state of Texas. 4 teams left in each division. Denton Ryan will be playing Frisco Lone Star, right? On one side of the bracket. Shadow Creek is playing San Antonio Wagner on the other side of the bracket. San Antonio Wagner and Shadow Creek are no strangers from each other. They just played each other in basketball over at Rick Nelson's event during the Thanksgiving holidays. Shadow Creek, that is, has only been playing varsity football for 2 seasons. They went to state last year. This game between Shadow Creek and San Antonio Wagner, Shadow Creek won the one on Saturday this weekend, 59-14 over Manor. San Antonio Wagner won 74-14. So both teams got something on their mind this weekend. And speaking of 5A, that's Division 1. In Division 2, another team that went to state
Marshall
and won state.
Who?
Well, they went to state, went to the championship. Yeah. And that's the Marshall Buffs.
Yes.
The Marshall Buffs, they beat the stuffings out of Manville, 40-10, and they will play this weekend in the
Who they play?
They played. I'm not sure who they playing. I don't have it written on my notes.
That's all right. So go Houston. I'm pulling for all Houston team. Well, hey, I'm pulling. Hey, it's Houston Greater Area. What y'all call it? Houston Greater Area.
Greater Houston.
Greater Houston. Okay.
And remember, I didn't invent that term. That was a term that was back in the old days. We had 2 newspapers in Houston back in the 80s and
the Chronicle and the Post. I remember.
And the way that they identified the All City team, they would call it the All Greater Houston team. And that was very well received by the whole community in every sport. And so only until recent years, when people understand, they call it All Greater Houston back then. So now I just took the term that was already embraced from yesteryear. And I always call it, I don't say All City, I just say All Greater Houston. So for people that was from the old school and familiar, and that's Bernie, is playing Thurgood Marshall. Thanks, Ms. Mouton. She gave us that correction. Bernie beat Corpus Christi Cal Allen. And Bernie.
Somebody ain't right. Somebody said Marshall. Okay. Bernie. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gotcha.
Yeah. Bernie, the name is Champion. Yeah. We call him.
Oh, Champion. Oh, you know that's outside Jimmy. I played on the golf course out there. It's outside of San Antonio.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, they're in the high rent district. Hey, Jim, they're in the high rent district out there.
They are?
Yeah.
Well, Thurgood Marshall ain't.
No, I'm talking about the golf course I played on. Them houses, that was unbelievable out there in Bernie. I like Bernie.
Now, Coach Armont is on he says he told, he did. He came and he told me.
What'd he say?
We're going to beat Manville. We're going to put a whooping on him.
Oh, okay.
Now, give me your prediction, Coach Armont. What you going to do to Bernie? That's how you pronounce that team, the city.
Yeah, Bernie.
Bernie. What are you going to do to Bernie this weekend in the semi? That's what we want to know. And, of course, and we're rocking with all, you know what? Houston, I'm feeling good because this is a very rare, not very rare, but think how the times have changed. When you start talking about getting to the state championship,
mm-hmm.
let me open your eyes on something. This I love doing. You won't get this nowhere but the chop shop. Nowhere. Because you know why? The narrative, they would not dare enlighten you on this type of narrative. I'll just mention to you guys about 4 or 5 teams. We start with the latest, with the latter. Fort Bend Marshall. Fort Bend Marshall, the makeup of their team is predominantly Black, African American. Right? Shadow Creek, the makeup of their team is predominantly African American. Right? That's 2. Westfield, the makeup of their team is predominantly African American. North Shore, which is the largest school in all of Greater Houston, their makeup of their team predominantly African American. Right?
What you trying to say?
So you have 4 of the 6 teams, Katy Taylor, and of course that's the only one. Of those 5 teams I mentioned, Katy Taylor is the only one where the predominantly of their makeup of their team is not African American. So
Houston didn't be that way or something? Are you saying?
Is usually not 4 out of 5.
Okay.
It's usually not 4 out of 5.
So these Lamar Jacksons we got a lot of Lamar Jacksons coming up in this world.
Marshall definitely got one. Marshall definitely has one. Creek, we know, definitely has one with drones, right? I don't know, Westfield, I haven't seen Westfield play this year, but I'm quite sure they have one as well. Yeah. We talked about this at the beginning of the show.
And we know Marshall have one.
Yeah, we know Marshall have one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Kid came from Austin High School and transferred over there last year and led them to the state tournament. The doors are open now. This means more college coaches will be willing to change their eyeball and just accept, you know what? See, you can't be against Baltimore Ravens and be for it at your level. You don't like them.
They don't have to like the team. They can like the quarterback. They don't have to like the king.
If you like the quarterback, then you indirectly saying you like what he's doing. If you like what he's doing and you're a football mind and you're a football coach, that means you're acknowledging subliminally that this thing could work.
Jimmy, and parents. Because Lamar Jackson, when his mama when he went there, now that coach was trying to change him now. And the mama had to remind him of what he told her in her living room. And if you go pick up some pictures of Lamar Jackson's mama, you can tell.
She Tasha Mack, ain't she?
She don't play. You feel me?
She's his agent.
Yeah, she's his manager. His manager. So it's just, if you got to demand it, if you know what you got, especially the mamas, if you know what you got as a son, hey man, he ain't playing, he ain't kicking, don't even practice him now. He's the quarterback. So, but Jimmy, I know we done went time and time. Jimmy, we didn't get a chance to talk about the firing of Fizdale today. And I mean, we'll talk about it tomorrow, but hey man, I knew it was coming. But Jim, we're going to end the show with this one. Why in the hell you don't fire the man the night before? Why you let him come practice with the team? Shake his hand. I'm gonna find that video, y'all. All of them shaking his hand. All the powers that be, shaking his hand before practice. And as soon as practice was over, they fired the man. Told the man, go clean out your locker. Unbelievable. Come on, Jimmy.
Well, you know what? I really believe we talk more about that on tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
I really believe that Coach Fizdale, he was ready to get up out of there. He did enough talking. You think about all the stuff he was saying,
Jimmy,
he had just blasted his team.
Jimmy, don't nobody want to get fired.
No. You got your bread. No, you when your lawyer told
you his bread is guaranteed. Yeah.
When your lawyer told you and assured you that everything is right, He made a statement saying
What'd he
that
say?
they had gave up. That was
He said the team gave up?
yes, that night game the night before. They got their butts beat. He just came out and made a statement in the post-game presser. Fizz did. And Fizz basically had blasted the team and their lack of effort. So that was the last straw.
And Jimmy, did you see what happened the next day? They go play hard the next day. Man, I'm about to be done with the Knicks. If Damon Dotson ain't on that team, I'm done with the Knicks. The only thing, the saving grace right now is Damon Dotson. That's the only saving grace with them right now. I'm mad.
And
let's get out of here, man.
We'll talk about potential who the Knicks possibly going to hire next.
Yeah. And
some of the stuff, and here now the names is coming up, and also that and a lot more. We also give you guys more on the collegiate thing ranks. We didn't talk at all about the high school the college playoff picture. We will address that on tomorrow. Sorry, guys, we are out of time.
We are.
It is that time. We did a little overtime for you guys, but looking at that clock on the wall, it's saying that's all, y'all. In the words of my man Lester Pace. But it's that time to slide on down. Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing. Guess what? On behalf of Robert Hatter, myself, Jim Hicks, we up out here, guys. Make sure you share the show.
Yes.
There are people out here that need to get a good fix of the Chop Shop every day. We are happy and we are so proud and gracious that you.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter, you are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop, we live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your